I once took, I don't know how much the edible was, but I took an edible, went to the airport, and then I was like, oh no, my gate is so far away. And I sat down every time I saw it. It took me like 45 minutes to walk 10 feet. It was so hard.
Well, mistiming an edible or any
if
plane
your flight
medication.
gets delayed,
That's how I ended up in a lot of trouble.
I almost hugged
once.
a flight attendant.
Oh, I ended up in a serious amount of trouble once. I mistimed an Ambien. Remember when Ambien was like, doctors would be like, oh, you have a headache? You're not sleeping enough. Here's a prescription for Ambien that'll last you a lifetime.
And now they won't give it to me.
No, they don't. Yeah, because I know why they won't. Because I think I might have killed some people. I was on a flight, a red eye to Philadelphia to shoot something, and I took the Ambien in the car on the way to LAX. Mm-hmm. Flight got delayed. Sat down at that Rolling Stone rock and roll
brewery.
Brewery.
Rock and Brew.
Oh,
I don't know the name.
Wait, what airline was this?
It was like, it must have been United or Delta, because that's in in I think Terminal 4.
Yeah, it's been redone, but that's the one.
Yeah, and I just started like, housing beers, and that was the last thing I remember. I woke up in Philadelphia with no shirt on, covered in red wine.
What?
And vomit. Don't know what happened.
In your chair.
In my chair.
On the plane.
On the plane in first class.
And nobody told the flight attendants
holding the empty little red, they give you like a half wine bottle.
Yeah.
Holding it like a football. Like vomit all over, red wine. Like I had poured it on my head. Like in my hair. Like.
And the flight attendants weren't like, oh, he's awake. Here's what happened.
I got up. They were like, we're now landing in Philadelphia. And I like woke up and was like, oh my God. Realized I had no shirt on. Packed up my bag. Got up. Walked out of the thing. The flight attendants wouldn't look me in the eye. I wasn't wearing a shirt. I took my bag down. It's like on my bare skin. I'm like walking through the tunnel. It's freezing fucking cold. I walk out. I walk right into like a Hudson News and the thing. I buy like a City of Brotherly Love.
Why didn't you go in your carry-on?
Shirt. I didn't have any clothes in my carry-on. Okay. I was like, it was legit a red eye and I was working in Philadelphia. And so and the kid who was picking me up from the movie, it was like an indie movie. It was like in his mom's like Altima. And he was like so excited to meet me. And he was like with the signs at Adam Valley. And I was like, oh my God. Saw him like, I literally have like wine.
You're like Mikhail Gorbachev.
I look like Gorbachev and vomit. I smell like vomit. Oh. And I like, God knows what happened on that flight. God knows.
God does know.
And the fact I still
have you told this story on a podcast before?
I'm sure I must have, but to this day, I am shocked that I wasn't arrested.
I need somebody who's on that flight to tell me what you were doing.
I know I poured the wine on my head. Honestly, I don't even drink red wine that much.
Is it a Cabernet? Because that's good for you.
That's good for the
You
skin.
don't want Pinot up there.
No.
I don't even like.
A Chianti? Absolutely not.
I don't even drink wine. It was just like the Ambien and the beer, and then that was it. The next thing I knew, I woke up. I must have eaten the airplane food and thrown it off.
And then you said, I'll clean it off.
I gotta wash this off.
I was so high. I said to a flight attendant when I was boarding, because it got delayed like 1 hour and it was a red eye, and I'm like, oh no, I'm like bedtime high, and I still have to get on the plane. And I said to the woman, do you guys have Transformers on this plane? I meant the movie. And she looked at me like so crazy. And I was like, I mean the movie. And she's like, yeah, I thought you meant the movie. And then I'm like trying to explain it. I'm like, because
I'm a terrorist.
I'm sounding crazier and crazier. I'm like, Optimus Prime can't stop me or whatever. And then she was like, and I tried to like laugh. And then I like went like, I was like, am I supposed to hug you? Like I forgot how to interact. And I was like, am I supposed to like hug this flight attendant? And she just kind of like leaned back, and I was like, I'm in 3A. I'll just go
sit there. That's so funny.
Oh my! This was the flight where I put on Hangover 3, one of the worst movies I've ever rewatched. But I was laughing so hard, I was hysterical crying. And the guy next to me goes, "What are you watching?" Because I'm cackling on a red eye, and I take it off and I go, "Hangover 3. They're such good friends."
It's true. It's true.
Such good friends.
That is the secret sauce to
Oh
those
my
movies.
God.
And then I had like tears pouring down my face. So then I start, and I'm like, oh, I actually watched Hangover 3 on the plane, and I loved it. And I put it on at home, and I was like, this movie is dog shit.
That's so funny. I was once on a plane and I was in Comfort Plus. I don't belong back there. I had to get back to LA from New York, and the flight attendant was like, I know you. And I was like, I think I know you too. He's like, yeah, I'm usually on LA to New York. And I was like, oh. And he goes, I'm usually not back here. I was like, me either.
Oh, you have a kindred spirit.
So then he brought me a bottle of champagne, which I drank.
Yeah.
And then when the cart went by, I was like, can I have a vodka soda? And he was like, yeah, I got you. So then he gave me a cup of vodka and like a little thing of soda. And then he came back and gave me another one. So a bottle of champagne.
You're wasted.
2 cups of vodka.
You can't see straight.
I'm so drunk.
And you're 30,000 feet in the air.
Yes. And I'm watching Forrest Gump like this. And I was like, Jenny, be better.
It is like a box of chocolate. You know what I like right now? You know what I love? A box of chocolate.
I want some chocolate.
You're trying to fly
Sally Field.
Do you know how many different kinds of shrimp there are?
Bubba knows so many shrimp. And then we land and we're stuck on the runway for like 20 minutes. And I was like, if I scream, they'll let me off. And then I was like, well, if I scream, they might take me to jail. I won't scream. So then I get off the plane, get in my Uber, and I like, the lady's like, she's trying to talk to me. And I promptly just passed out. And then I woke up to her being like, we're at your home. Get out of my car. And then I was like, oh, sorry. And then I went upstairs and then vomited so hard that I popped blood vessels in my eyes.
Been there.
Oh my God. Ooh, it was tough.
I've woken up with like spider web of blood vessels across my face.
I got picked up once from a flight from New York to Vancouver to go shoot a movie, just a normal flight. I must have had 7 Bloody Marys. I got picked up. I was totally fine. I was like, this is great. Can't wait to get to the Sutton hotel, you know, like where actors go to die. I was like, can't wait to work in Vancouver. The guy picks me up in a black car. I'm feeling myself. I'm walking through. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm a Mr. Pally. That's my dad. Get in the car. We start driving. I'm like, can you pull over? He pulls over. I open the door and I like just like hurl what looks like blood.
Yep.
Yeah, you just barf marinara.
Barf marinara on the side of the road in Canada, in like beautiful British Columbia. And then I have to like get back in the car. And meanwhile, I can only imagine what the driver is doing like while this is going on. Like,
watching you. Yeah,
or just being like, like hearing the splatter and looking away. So I get back in. I'm like, I'm so sorry. I really.
I had clams.
I was like, I'm so sorry. I don't know. I don't even know what I was feeling well. I was just like, he's like, yeah. You mind cleaning yourself up a little more before you touch anything? And I was like, oh God, I got the only dick driver in Canada, and he made me like pretty much hang my hands and self out the window while we drove to the hotel because it smelled so bad. And when we arrived,
what a piece of shit that guy is.
Sucked.
I'm dying though. I'm dying. He's like, put your hands out the window.
Because we were in my. So we drove like I was a Muppet, you know, like for the rest of the way.
Did you puke in your hands?
I must have puked in my hands. It was an awful feeling. And then I got to the hotel and had to like go check in.